Good evening, everyone. This is the last video of the day, and a lot of my subscribers reached out to me and they asked that in the first video I ended with ICOs, and they were kind of interested on throwing some more light on what an ICO is, why is it so popular, and how they could get into it, right? So I want to do like a 10 to 15-minute video on explaining what an ICO is. It's probably the best rate of return that you can get in this in our lifetime. I mean, uh, I don't think there was any instrument before 2014 which could have given the kind of returns that you would get in an ICO space. Okay, an ICO is essentially a initial coin offering, and just like an IPO, initial public offering, there's an initial coin offering. In IPO, you would essentially get stocks before it gets to the exchanges. And when I say exchanges, I say like an interactive broker where you can go and buy stocks of Apple or Google or Facebook or Uber. Typical IPOs can give you 50x returns, which is quite good, traditionally. But the game has changed. Okay, what was a tradition, the ICOs have disrupted the kind of returns that you can make in the tokens, or by participating in a initial coin offering. So just to take this conversation further, I'd like to share some documents which would give you a better sense. So this is a ICO stats, ROI since ICO. Okay, so these are the top performers. Okay, so just look at this in terms of number. I mean, I had not seen this number before. I mean, never in my life I have, and maybe there would be some ICOs which would even kind of go past this amount. So NXT. I mean, if you would have put $100 into NXT, you would have got 3260,293 dollars. Okay, so it's a percentage. Okay, so $100 into NXT would have basically given you $3.2 million. I mean, just beats me. It just beats me. This is a very very interesting space to be in at this juncture of our life. IOTA, you would have got 959821%. Now, people, if hedge funds, traditional hedge funds, if they can make 50% return year over year for a long time, which was the case with some of the best hedge fund managers, in the stock trading, and using options and iron condors and bull put spread and bear call spread, using various, not just playing the equities, but also like futures and forex, and using everything. If you can do like a 50% year over year return, I mean, you could be named as one of the top hedge fund managers of the world. However, the game has changed, and the game has changed since then. And by participating in ICOs, you and just to give you a, like I say always, like, this is a disclaimer. This is only to be used for fun and learning, and I'm not a registered investment advisor, neither do I want to become one. I'm just trying to help people get to get onboarded with uh, with cryptocurrencies and get into this space. So look, for example, I mean, Ethereum, the ICO price was zero point 0.3, and today it is trading at $1,100. That's the kind of return you would have made had you gotten into Ethereum back in the days. Now, would there be other ICOs which are starting in 2018 which would have similar results? Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. But we don't know. We have to do our due diligence. We have to get right in time, because sometimes these ICO sell off within a few minutes, like 30 minutes, the ICO is gone, boom, gone. Okay. So what happens is, you have to first register to participate in the ICO. So they do like a KYC. It's called Know Your Customer. So they go through a process of making sure that some of the ICOs have a very strict restriction. So if they are using any US customers, they will say, "Are you accredited investor?" Only if you are an accredited investor, which means you have more than $200,000 of income a year, or more than $1 million in assets, only then you can participate in those ICOs, right? So, a lot of us may not be able to participate in some of the really uh, sought after ICOs, but still there are many of them which we can participate in. And so how do we know whether it's a good ICO or not? And typically, what I've seen is it's a hit and a miss, right? So just like in the venture capital world and in the world of angel investing, if you pick or put your bets in 10 places, 8 out of 10, you don't know. You may get maybe 10x return, you may be lucky to get 1x return in some of them. If you really want to go to the moon, you need like 100x, 1000x returns on some of them, right? Now, here, what are we talking about? We're not even talking about 1000 or 100x. We are talking about, you know, 3 million, 3.2 million x. I mean, where in the world it's like, do you get such kind of returns? I mean, here, banks are giving you less than a percentage returns. And, by participating in some of the ICOs. Now, not all ICOs will be an IOTA or an NXT or an Ethereum. We should know that. Uh, Maybe 1 out of 10 ICOs. In fact, I participated in a lot of ICOs, and then when I went back and did my token analytics, which you need to do to understand what was the price of Ethereum when you participated in the ICO, how many coins did you get from that ICO, and when that ICO actually happens, or the tokens are sent to the exchange, like a Bittrex exchange or a Binance exchange, where you can trade those tokens to get back your Ethereum. I would have been better off by not participating in those ICOs, because the Ethereum price over 3 months went 2x, whereas it went from $200 to $400. Whereas the some of the ICOs I participated in, they didn't really do well. So sometimes, if you're lucky, like many people are in such cases, you can just go to the moon. I mean, your wealth just takes off, right? I mean, even if you start putting 100 dollars in many of these ICOs, imagine, the ICO price is less than a cent, 1/10 of a cent, 3 cents, 3.2 cents actually, one 7/10 of a cent. And then, the kind of money or the kind of returns you can make. But this is a space where you need to do a lot of due diligence. It's not easy. You need to know the management. You need to know who are the advisors. You need to understand what are they trying to solve. Is that a problem that needs attention? Many of the ICOs are just a platform to steal money. There have been a few ICOs which was take and run the money. So they raised Ethereum from various investors. Investors put their hard-earned money into the ICO, and then they just shut it down and vanished. And these things happen in the crypto world. Okay, so amazing returns you can see here. I mean, these are just the top ICOs, the top five biggest ICOs. Look at this one. I mean, amazing, mind-boggling returns. I mean, nothing that we have seen in our lifetime or we would see in our uh, in the past or even in the future. I don't know. I mean, NXT, like I showed you, I mean, this is phenomenal returns. I mean, look at it. I mean, um, so when it was offered in September 2013, it was offered for 0.000168. So from there, it went to, like 25 cents. Similarly, IOTA. In fact, I had heard about a guy uh, who put one Bitcoin in IOTA just before it went to the exchange, and then he made 225 Bitcoins by just putting one Bitcoin in IOTA. So that's the kind of money you can turn around, but you have to be very, very smart in order to get these kind of returns. Ethereum, again, a big one of the top five ICOs of all time. So was Neo, which is known as the Chinese Ethereum, um, and then Stratus, right? So Stratus has been another big blockbuster. So in terms, if I were to rank different categories of how to play this space, uh, so one thing that definitely comes to my mind is we need to participate in good ICOs regardless. So there has to be a way to know that, and they have a timeline. Okay, so they have a timeline. So look at what are some of the ICOs that are currently going in, right? So they have a timeline, they have a start date, they have an end date, they have some um, pre-sale going on. Some are only offered to investors. uh, Crypterium, just finished their ICO yesterday. Uh, I believe it was a blockbuster ICO. I couldn't get in. Uh, they raised some 50 million hard cap, $51 million. They raised $51 million. Big ICO, right? So um, worth, yes, and they basically reached their ICO. Crypterium, see, they say Crypterium looks like the next big thing, you know. So probably this may be uh, an ICO that once it comes to the exchange, it may make sense to start owning, uh, Crypterium tokens in your portfolio, right? $51 million, that's a big ICO. Okay, so what I'm trying to present to my subscribers here is, you know, uh, in order to participate in in any of these token sales or ICOs, uh, some of them would require you to be an accredited investor. So if you're not an accredited investor, you can't even make in. Some of them will not allow, if they are from different countries, they will not allow a US or a Canada investor to participate in these ICOs. So I mean, that's hard luck. But I'm sure a lot of subscribers will also come from different countries. Some of these ICOs would take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to. So they have an ICO timeline. Okay, they have an ICO timeline. So started in October. Um, 31st October to 6th November, there were a lot of extra bonuses. People got extra bonuses. And then 7th November to 25th November, there were more bonuses, right? So, and then it'll hit the exchange, okay? And when it hits the exchange, there is a lot of what they call in the crypto space pump and dump, okay? And the reason that happens is people who have participated in a pre ICO, they want to take out their money like 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. Some of the ICOs can give you, like I showed you, in a few years, these ICOs are having like too much money out there. So people who are investors, they want to take their money out and then they want to go to the next ICO and participate. That's how they turn around their money, and then they move from one ICO to another, making huge profits and participating in the next ICO. So, uh, you know, uh, I guess those were the top things that I wanted to show. I want to keep this small and simple. Just wanted to show how to participate in ICOs. Obviously, in order to participate in ICOs, first you need, let's say you start picking on some small amounts of Ethereum or Bitcoin. Some of the ICOs also allow you to participate using Litecoin for that matter. So let's say you start building Ethereum in your portfolio through Gemini, Bittrex, or any of those exchanges, and then you send Ethereum from those exchange to my Ether wallet. So in ICO, you cannot send from from the exchange directly to the ICO. No, not happening, because they will send you ERC20 tokens, and they can send you those tokens only in my Ether wallet. Okay, so first you need to move your Ethereum from the exchange to my Ether wallet, which I showed you in the last video how to do that. And then from my Ether wallet, you would actually send, let's say you want to send, some ICOs have a minimum Ethereum requirement. So let's say they have a zero point 0.5 Ethereum minimum you need to send. So you will then send zero point 0.5 Ethereum from your MyEther wallet to the address of that ICO. And they will have their own address. And once they will verify that, okay, you have participated in that ICO, you will immediately start showing your Ethereum in your MyEther wallet. And then you can use gas to send it to the exchange, trade it off for some other ICOs, and that's how you basically, uh, uh, you know, cash it out. So I hope this was useful to all my subscribers. It's a lot of information. Please take it slowly and steadily. This is still a growing space. We are still in the early stages of the crypto boom. We need to understand uh, how this space is going to play out. Obviously, there will be a lot of winners. There will be a lot of losers, but regardless, I personally believe that even if uh, 20 to 30% of the ICOs in which we participate are a winner, and if we can pick some good winners by participating in those ICOs, uh, we can be financially free, which is all very much required. We need to be financially free, which would help boost creativity, because when you become financially free and you can do whatever you feel like doing, then there is no bounding. That's the world is a free place. uh, it boosts a lot of creativity, and I personally feel that through this platform we can help each other, and build this huge knowledge base which can be used to uh, become financially free. So with that, I'd like to end this uh, webinar. Kind of, it has been an amazing 2 days in which I've made more than 6 or 7 videos, and I hope you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, and what I'm sharing in terms of knowledge repository, so to speak. Thanks, and have a nice evening, folks. Signing off. Have a nice day. Bye.